Scuffles replaced the jubilation from earlier on Friday as anti-conservative protesters slowly outnumbered Johnson supporters near Downing Street. Their concerns are clear.
Because I think the racism, the sexism, the misogyny, the homophobia of Boris Johnson has to go opposed. We can't give this bigot a free run here in this country.
Just a few hours earlier, a whole different scene was unfolding behind the doors of 10 Downing Street. After receiving a warm welcome by his staff, Johnson said it was time to bring closure to the Brexit debate and let the healing begin.
If you ask yourselves, what is this new government going to do? What is he going to do with his extraordinary majority? I will tell you that is what we are going to do. We are going to unite and level up. Unite and level up, bringing together the whole of this incredible United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, together, taking us forward, unleashing the potential of the whole country.
But the Prime Minister's plans might not go as smoothly as he hopes. The Scottish National Party made significant gains in the election, and they feel empowered to push for a second referendum on Scottish independence. After Brexit, that will be one of the next big challenges for the country.
For more, let's bring in DW correspondent Charlotte Potts in London for us. Charlotte, shortly after Boris Johnson celebrated his party's biggest election win in 30 years, scuffles broke out in central London, as you know. Didn't Boris Johnson want to ease frustration and divisions?
Well, it's not that easy for Boris Johnson. When I left Downing Street yesterday, where I covered this election, I ran into the protesters, several hundred there gathered in front of Downing Street holding signs. Boris Johnson is not our prime minister, defying Tory rule. And yes, occasional fights broke out with the police there. I've talked to some of the protesters and they are pro-European. They see that Boris Johnson will now push Brexit through and that all hope is lost for the UK to stay in the European Union. And of course, they are upset about it because that was their hope all along, that the UK would remain in the European Union. Now, Boris Johnson there yesterday, very statesmanlike, and for the first time since we know him as Prime Minister, really reached out across the aisle saying he will try to heal those divisions and calling for a message of unity there shortly before Christmas. But he will have a very tough job on his hands to do that.
Now, the Prime Minister said he wants to bring a fast closure to the Brexit issue. How likely is that to happen?
Well, the Brexit issue is not going to be resolved very quickly, though. On paper, he can push it through now very quickly. Next week, Parliament will assemble again, and he wants Parliament then to approve the deal that he renegotiated with the European Union as early as next Friday, which would mean that symbolically, Brexit Day is finally going to come at the end of January, January 31st. The UK would officially leave the European Union, but that is just on paper. It's phase one, so to say. Then we are looking at a transition period until the end of 2020, where Boris Johnson has to go back to the European Union and negotiate the future trade relations, security relations, and so on. And that, experts say, is going to be the complicated part. So he really has to reach out there to Europeans and Brexiteers in the United Kingdom alike. And it's going to be very, very tough for him to get it done within a year.
Now, reflecting on the political climate in his own country, Boris Johnson vowed to, quote, unite and level up this incredible United Kingdom. By saying that, is he admitting to what's really at stake here, the unity of the UK and even peace?
Well, he knows what's at stake. He's facing a very disunited kingdom, and that's what the election results showed yesterday. For example, the Scottish National Party made huge gains. They are calling for another independence referendum to then, as an independent nation, stay and remain in the European Union. So these are just some of the challenges that Boris Johnson will face in his 5 years in office now. He really needs to reach out to all kinds of different people across the aisle of the Brexit divide.
That's Charlotte Potts for us. Thank you so much.